Now, this issue pertains to this emotion, doesn't it? Remember that? Expressing our real nature and personality is one of our primal fears. Yep. So obviously, to do this, we're going to have to start going through this. You see the relationship? If we are going to express our personality and nature, we're going to have to feel some of the terror about expressing our personality and nature. Now, to confront terror, there's a couple of ways, isn't there? One is to actually do something and then let yourself feel the results of what you just did. So for many of us, what you are doing with your life is you're going, okay, I'm meant to be myself. So you tell yourself that you're meant to be yourself. So what you try to do is you try to work out what that is and then be that. That's not what we're suggesting here. What we're suggesting here is if you feel your global terror and engage what you feel like what you should do in every situation, be honest and truthful with every single person in every situation, that global terror will automatically start coming up, right? It will. You'll start, and the key is to allow yourself to experience it, to feel it. Once it's released from you, being yourself will be easier. Now, if you've accepted and deconstructed your facade, you already know what is not the real you. So, you might go along to an event and all of a sudden you're the life of the party, and then after a while you go, hey, I'm being the life of the party. This is me not being me again. This is what I just feel I need to do in this situation, right? And then you get with your mother and you just say, yes, mum, yes, mum, yes, mum, yes, mum, yes, mum, yes, mum. No worries, mum. Okay, catch you later, mum. Right? And then you go away from that situation and you go, I wasn't myself again. That was me just pandering to mum's need to tell me what to do and so forth. Yeah. And then with your dad, it's the same. You go to work and it's like, you're the tough, might be the tough sort of, cool person. Then you realise, I'm just trying to be cool now. Like, that's not the real me either, right? You have the option of, once you've worked your way through these things, you notice yourself attempting to do these things to fit in with the world around you, and you stop doing them because you realise that expressing your real nature and personality needs to be done unapologetically. Needs to be done without fear of consequence. Now, you imagine getting to that point. Wouldn't it be fantastic? Where you could just be you, don't even have to think. You're walking down, everything you choose to do, you just choose to do it and you be you, and you're not even thinking about, what does that person think of me? What does this person think of me? You get up in front of 100 people and you're not worried about what everybody's thinking of you. You're not hyper-sensitive and hyper-alert, worried about what will happen in any situation. You have an important meeting and you treat it exactly the same as if it was just a meeting with your friend. So the Queen asks you to go to her palace. You rock up there with some bare feet and some shorts and a t-shirt. Say, how you doing? If that's how you normally would greet a person, that's what you do. Because you're not afraid of being judged, criticised, kicked out. You're just yourself. What a relaxing place, eh? Yeah. And it is. It's a lot easier than doing this. This one is like, I have to be this way with Diana, I have to be this way with Janine, I have to be this way with Ali, I have to be this way with Mary, because she's special, so she's got... I've got to be a certain way with her that's different to everyone else. And it's really quite confusing. And then you get all of those people in one room, and what do you do? That's exhausting. Then you've got to have some kind of internal priority system that goes, Mary's more important than Diane, so I'll do my Mary thing this time. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all weird, isn't it, when you think about it? But that's what we do. Kelly, you...
So in the meantime, we're going to be a very messy personality.
Yeah. It's going to be like a combination of bits of facade here and bits of real self there, and sometimes you won't even know which bit is the real bit. And then you work it out, through your experimentation and you're making mistakes. You work it all out. You go, oh, well, this bit's loving, so obviously that's out of harmony with love. Therefore, it must be my facade. But yeah, it can be messy. But see, this is the thing: is that most of you are going like, what are you doing? Juggling. How hard is it to continue juggling in your life?
Exhausting.
It's exhausting. Now, what most of you need to do is this. So you're doing this, right? This is what you're doing now, and then you just... That's what you need to do. Just drop it all. Surrender. Drop it all.
So we have to feel at least a good percentage of our terror to be then expressing mostly our personality until we are fully ourselves.
And it's a gradual thing. Yeah. You start out feeling very little of your real self, and then as you proceed and let yourself, usually it becomes a gradual thing. But it doesn't have to be a gradual thing if you think about it, because we could choose to just embrace it and be done with the results, couldn't we? We could have some courage just to choose to just step into what we know our real self is, and when you're modifying yourself, you do. Most of the time you do know. I'm uncomfortable here, I don't like it here, I don't like it there, I don't feel like it's good here now, but I'm sitting here because I feel like I have to. When you're doing all those things, do the opposite to that. And I've found as a general principle, just do the opposite of what you feel like doing. Because what you feel like doing is generally your facade and addictions in play, because when we start, that's how it is. So what I decided to do in many cases was just do the opposite. So I didn't feel like going shopping, so I went to go shopping. I didn't feel like being home, so I stayed home. I didn't feel like being alone, so I was alone. I didn't feel like spending any time with people, so I went and spent some time with people. Just confront the addictions that are in play. I didn't feel like patting a cat, so I pat a cat. Right down to just stuff like that. It's amazing what you learn. Yeah. Didn't feel like exposing my heart, so I exposed my heart. Didn't feel like telling the truth, so I tell the truth. When you begin, you can pretty much assume, can't you, that pretty much every action is driven by facade and addiction. So if you do the opposite, then it's going to confront something. I've found doing opposites have worked fantastic for me for a large part of my progression.
Thank you.
Okay. So expressing your personality, let's have a look. God's love is the thing that helps me be myself. The reason why it helps me be myself is quite obvious if you think about it. If God loves me only when I'm myself, can you see that will drive me to be myself all the time? Once you've received a little bit of God's love and you realise that it's only there when you're choosing to be yourself, that's going to cause you to choose to be yourself. Do you see? And if God's love is more important to you, if God's love and loving God is more important to you than anything else, then you won't care if joy attacks me. Well, that's joy's issue, If joy attacks me for being myself, and I've still got God giving me love for being myself, do you think joy's attack will matter much to me? Will it? It won't. I barely probably feel it or consider it. And it's not about ignoring her or anything. It's just the fact that God's love is more important. I can feel God's love entering me when I'm myself. So that's going to drive me to be myself. Isn't that true? See, most of us haven't tried that, but that's what happens. How can we need to get to the stage where we can live in this world where we are the only person who loves ourselves, and we're still okay living in the world. Now, the way that happens is because if you can feel God's love, then of course that's a very safe and secure place. You now feel safe and secure in all of your interactions with the world itself, because you're feeling God's love while you're going through the world. It's the times when we don't feel God's love, that's when it's difficult. That's when life's a lot more difficult. So we learn to express our personality in order to maintain our connection with God, our true parent. So that's why we express our personality. That's how one of the ways we maintain a connection with God, by being who we are, by being the person God created us to be, in fact. That's how we connect to God.